Everybody, it is an emergency edition of the Isaiah Thomas Show. I want to do this show with all respect because I know this has been a really tough day, Isaiah. I think fans would want me to tell you, how much that they appreciate you and all the players and how bad they feel that a day like this happened to you guys. As much as you put into this thing, to have your coach leave for another program that isn't even on the level of Oklahoma, I think is shocking. It's sad. It's a sad day. And I know, just dealing with you guys, I feel awful for y'all. And I think the fans, I like to say for the fans, that I think everyone feels that way. And sorry to see you have to go through a day like this.
Yeah, first and foremost, I appreciate the fans more than anything. Been with me throughout my whole career here, from the goods, the bads, the ups and downs. And, for not even just a day like this, but a weekend like this and how it turned out, specifically with Bedlam, then with Coach Riley, taking the head coaching job at USC. It really blindsided us all, coaches included. They talked to us today. They had no idea till about an hour prior to the meeting that we had today. And, Coach Riley informed us. He was like, yeah, taking the head coaching job at USC, as we all know now. And, it kind of hurt, honestly, just because of how, Coach Riley, portrayed himself in the media, saying stuff like, I know where I belong and all that. But, I mean, it's a business. You got to expect certain stuff, like expect the unexpected, and, stuff like this comes with it.
I like you say, and I find it interesting, too, because everyone says, well, these kids are here for Oklahoma. But when you see stuff like that, it kind of reinforces that this is a business and that you have to do things in your own best interests. Do you worry that this is going to kind of gut the roster a little bit with Lincoln taking off like this?
Honestly, I kind of do, because fortunately, I'm a senior. I played my last games and stuff like that here. But outside of that, the guys like freshmen and other players like Caleb Williams. It's kind of, it's going to rearrange this roster, in my opinion. Possibly they all could stay just like my freshman class did when Coach Riley got announced the head coach. But, it's a different time. It's a different era. And Coach Riley, he's a different coach. So, I'm thinking this kind of is going to gut this roster a little bit, but hopefully in a positive way to let this university, progress and hopefully not break us apart.
All right, let's go back a little bit. Tell me about the day in general. Like, what was the day supposed to be like? And when did you – I know how you found out because I called you. But tell me about, like, from that moment, like, your reaction when you first heard – how, like you said, I was blindsided. You were blindsided. Yeah. Coaches didn't even know. So from the time you found out until, through the team meeting, can you kind of just tell me what this day was like?
So, yeah, the day was supposed to go just a regular day, treatment at 2 o'clock and, team meeting at 2:30 or so. And it was just a regular day. We got a Teamworks message on our app, and it said team meeting at 2:30 to discuss the schedule for the up and coming weeks. And that was all it was supposed to be like, just taking on week by week up until the next bowl game. And then next thing you know, the meeting got pushed back. Then, like you said, you called me, informed me that Coach Riley was going to, USC. Then I was around a couple players, and I talked to Jalen about it. And I was like, hey, do you know this, all this and that? And he was like, nah. Then getting to the team meeting, and by the time the team meeting started, like 5 minutes before all the news broke out on social media. So by the time he came in there, we all knew. All the assistant coaches knew that we knew. And Coach Riley jumped right into it. And that's really how the day unfolded. And now we're just, playing it day by day, going to see how the rest of the year unfolds. What did Lincoln say to you guys? So he walked in there, and first thing he said, I'm sure you all know, but I'm taking a head coaching job at USC. And he said it was an opportunity that he couldn't pass up on. He has to do his best for his family, which in all, you have to understand and respect. Because, just like if I were in the NFL and a team were offering me this and another team offered me $10 million with the same position and all that, obviously I'm going to do what's best for me and my family as well. So I respect his decision. I'm not mad at what he did. It just more so caught us off guard how he did it. The timing of it and just how we thought, he would be here for, like Bob was, for 18 seasons or so. But I mean, it happens. I mean, I'm thankful for him for sure. Don't get it wrong. I appreciate him. He chose me. He also elected me as a captain as well. So I can't do nothing but thank him for that.
And you also, President Harris was there as well, and was Joe Castiglione there? Were they all there together, or did people come and go as it happened, the meeting?
No, they all came in together. Like, they all came in before Coach Riley, and after Coach Riley spoke, Joe Castiglione came and spoke, then President Joe Harris came, then Bob Stoops came in there, and it was kind of surreal that he was in there, because I was like, wow, like, he was actually supposed to be my head coach when I got here, because he retired the week of my freshman year here, and it was like he retired, and Coach Riley came in, and that was a whole different time for the fans who really weren't around then and knew. But it was kind of that same feeling. And Bob even said it was that same feeling when he told his guys that he was retiring back in 2016, and he just told us, he said, OU isn't OU without the players. So a coach doesn't change the university, we do. And it just felt kind of cool to see him step up and be the interim head coach, because it was kind of what was supposed to happen. I mean, not what was supposed to happen, but what I thought was going to happen to start my career.
So, I know we've talked about, how this hurts, with the bowl game and, whether guys are going to opt out or something. But when you find out you have a chance to go out and win a bowl game with Bob Stoops as the head coach, do you think that changes people's minds about whether they want to play or not?
Oh, yeah, I think it does for sure, because I know guys wanted to play for Bob. Not that they didn't want to play for Riley, but just to say you played under Bob Stoops was kind of cool. And when he stepped up, and he was
got a statue out there. You see a statue every
so
day.
Yeah. And so when he told us that, it kind of changes people's minds and their mentality on what they want to do for this last game, and it'll be pretty cool to play one out there with Coach Bob on the sideline with that head coaching visor on. So I know it kind of changed the mindsets of players who probably potentially thought about opting out when Riley said he was going to USC.
How would you describe the overall tone of how the players took it? Like, walking out of that meeting, or after the meeting was over, did you get a general sense? Were guys angry? Were they more shocked? Was it just confusion?
Yeah, I would say definitely shocked and confusion. And I don't want to go as far to say betrayed, because Riley stuck his neck out for us a lot, as a team and individual players, stuff that players went through that the media, that people don't know about, stuff that I went through that people don't know about. I mean, I had talks with Riley one-on-one when everything wasn't going well for me, so I wouldn't say betrayed, but definitely, shocked and confused on why, and just more, not why, because, he has to do what he has to do, but just how it happened, how it came about. It just sucked, because, we got that vibe, after a loss against Baylor, after a close win against Kansas, he would talk to us like he believes in his team, wouldn't want to coach any other team. He knows where he wants to be, and, we're just getting started and how special we can be. And, that gives us the vibe like dang, like he's ready to, gut this out for the rest of the season and for years to come with guys like Caleb Williams, Marvin Mims, all this. So this university is in good hands. And for this to happen, it's like, whoa, like, that's crazy how life happens. And like you said, it's a business, and players come to the school not because of the name of the school, but because of the coaches. Like, people don't say I want to go to Alabama because it's Alabama. Like, people say I want to play for Nick Saban. So just an example, not saying that that's how players are thinking, but that's just how it is.
Moving forward now, obviously, everybody's going to focus on recruiting, and that's one of the reasons, I don't know if you know this, but that's one of the reasons today was the day, because in-home visits start. So Lincoln can start recruiting for USC immediately, and the early signing days coming up. But after that, you just kind of wait word and find out what coaches are staying. And is that kind of your curiosity at this point, just to find out who's going to be left here?
No, yeah, that's definitely a big curiosity, because we know that coaches got close ties with Coach Riley, and other coaches get opportunities at other universities, and once the head man leaves, you probably are thinking they're going to bring the next head man is going to bring in his own guys, so you got to do what's best for yourself. Then at that point, it's like a domino effect, and you start to think like who's going to be here, who's not. And I know it sucks. I know I said it, but it sucks for the young guys, man. And it puts them in a tough position, because you're in a position where, like, okay, could I just thug this out and, play the best that I can be, and whoever comes, like, I'm going to play regardless because I'm just that dude. Or you're like, man, it was tough for me to play this year, or I didn't get a chance to. Like, who's to say I'm going to have another chance next year? Or I should not just go to my hometown and play, or, something like that. So it's tough to see how this is going to unfold.
I would think one of the things that's going to be most unique is, I mean, Benny Wiley could go with him. I mean, you might not have a strength and support staff, and that's a really big part of what you guys do leading up to bowl games, isn't it?
No, it's a big deal how we do it, because I know I had Smitty for a year, and how he approached it and how Wiley approached it are two different approaches. And I mean, they all work in their own, their pros and cons and how they work. But I mean, it's a big deal, and I know Coach Wiley definitely helped transform me to what I am. Because when Coach Wiley first got here, I was like 245 or so like that, 240, and now I'm like 265 in that area, and like a good 265. So, it's good to find that solid strength coach that you want to play for as well. So, I mean, there's a lot of things that key into who you want to play for, not just the position coaches, but also the strength coaches, because the reputations and whatnot, I mean, they get paid for a reason. So,
I wanted to, one thing about Bedlam that I didn't know about until we talked beforehand, but you barely made that game.
Yeah, I did.
You got sick.
Yeah, so I know Thursday I practiced with the team, but I mean, I barely practiced. Like, I had to practice with a mask on. Like, I had a bad cough that day, actually. And I had to sit out like a little bit of some periods, and coach took me out for a little while. And then after that, had a little Thanksgiving with my friend, but, I was feeling good enough to go. Then after that, I got home, and like an hour later, I was just under the weather, like bad, and I could barely get out of bed. I had to text our trainer, to Chris Watson. I was like, man, like, I feel like crap today, but like, I can't get out of bed at all. And then he was like, when you're able to, just come up here and talk to me, and we'll get a look at you. Then I had a fever of like 102, I believe, or like 101.9 or something like that. And he got a COVID test that day, actually a flu test, tested negative in both. And he was just like, man, I just have a pretty bad cold, and I was on all this medication and stuff. Then luckily my girl was down here. She helped, take care of me and whatnot. Then Saturday, the day of the game, I was feeling a little bit better, still under the weather. And around 11 o'clock, I had to go up there to get an IV. Then I'm just at the facility, just trying to get as close to healthy as I can. And finally, I got cleared to play. Took me to the hotel. Then I was just in the hotel room up until meetings, and got to the bus and went to the game and played.
So you hadn't practiced since Thursday.
And I barely practiced Thursday, yeah.
Basically got out of bed and went to play a football game.
Yeah, it felt all out of whack. Like, the whole day felt weird. Like, I was like, usually, like, I'm on the bus, jamming with the boys, headed to the hotel, finna have a good day, laugh, whatnot. Then, but the whole time I'm in bed sick, just trying to watch stuff to keep my mind off of it. Then Saturday game morning, I'm like going through our schedule, seeing what they're doing, and I'm like, man, I should be doing this, I should be doing that, but I'm just in bed. And next time I got up, I'm in the training room getting an IV. Then after that, I'm at the hotel, then getting ready for a game.
Well, I mean, it was a bizarre game. I mean, just the penalties were incredible. You were very upset in the post game, and probably justified. I don't know. The Big 12, I don't think they can do anything to you. You're done. If you want to rip on the refs, go ahead.
Oh, yeah,
I think you did
definitely.
that enough in the post game, though.
Yeah, so, I mean, like I said, it's hard enough playing against, a good opponent like they were, credit to them, Oklahoma State, but it's even harder when you're playing against the refs, and I'm going to call it like it is. That pass interference that didn't get called on Trey West late in the game, that was a call. The flag that they picked up on Kennedy Brooks, even I think the face mask on the stiff arm he had, I think that was bull. It was a bunch of stuff like that just.
Jaden Hazelwood also ridiculous.
Had a. Yeah, he did have
Jaden Hazelwood also had the one in the end zone. Yeah.
It's Jalen Redmond. Yeah, it's Jalen.
Oh man. So, what I mean is it just you just kind of have to process this? You think everybody's just going to have to process this for a couple of days and see, how everybody feels? I know DJ Graham has already been pretty vocal on Twitter saying he's ready to go out and basically kick some ass. And are you just kind of going to get a smattering of emotions throughout this? You think? Next couple of days?
Yeah, definitely, a locker room full of different emotions. I mean, and I think rightfully so. I mean, we're still young men and kids in some eyes of the people out there. And I know guys like Justin Burrows just wants to win regardless of who he's playing for. I love that about Justin. Then you got the young guys wondering what's next because I mean, if they didn't get a taste for college, what college game day feels like, and then you got the older guys who are, probably got 1 year left or who's out of here who's just like, good luck, guys. But outside of that, I think it's going to be a room full of emotions because even with coaches not knowing where they're going to be at, guys are still probably going to be on the edge of their seat figuring out what's next.
See, here's what I'm wondering. You knew Bob from recruiting, and
Yep.
you know him from being on television. There's a different Bob, though. There's a head coach Bob. He's a lot different person. Like, he's intimidating as hell.
Oh, no, he is. I know when I was getting recruited, I came up to a spring practice, and I think he was chewing out – I just don't want to put – I think it was Q Overton. Excuse me, Q, if I'm wrong. But I was like, man, I'm like, goodness gracious. Like, I've seen coaches, chew out players before, but I'm like, man, is this college football? Then, like you said, you also see TV Bob. Then you also see Friday Move Bob when I did a video of with him and Clark in the car. So,
yeah.
But, it's intimidating, but it's nothing that they can't handle, the leading up to the bowl game.
Oh, God, Clark's going to go too, isn't he, probably? No more videos.
I know. I mean, him and Link are honestly like best friends, man. Like, they're really close. Like, they're two peas in the pod. Like, Coach Riley would be calling me and Clark would answer the phone sometime. Like, that's how close they are. Yeah.
That's pretty good. All right. Well, I just kind of wanted to get a pulse of how you guys are doing today, and I figured, hey, we got access to Isaiah. Let's hit him up and see what's going on. But I know you and I will be back later this week to make a big announcement. Looking forward to that. And man, again, so I know you're leaving, and it's not as as impactful to you, but for all you guys on the team, it's a sucky thing to have to go through. And hopefully, you guys get a lot of people together, go play well, go practice well with Bob, and get to. It'll be amazing to give Bob Stoops a win after he retired, and he has a statue on the campus. So
that'll be pretty dope.
It's a really good story. I'm looking to see how it plays out, and we'll keep talking about it in the weeks to come. So, Isaiah, thank you very much for the time, and we will catch up with you soon.
Yeah, appreciate you guys. Thank you.